Peace and blessings, everyone. How are you doing? I hope all is well. Um, First of all, I'd like to thank you all. I would like to thank those of you who are just subscribing to my channel. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your support, and definitely for your subscription, and definitely those of you who are my returning YouTube subscribers. I definitely like to thank you all for definitely subscribe for being subscribed to my YouTube channel. I definitely thank you for your comments, your likes, and support. Um, as I stated, I will be announcing new ideas in the future new things that I will bring into the channel, which I'm currently working on at this time. That I'll be bringing to this channel. I'll be making announcements about that. Um, but anywho, um, I hope you all New Year's went well so far. Happy New Year's, by the way. I hope you all New Year's. I hope it went well so far. Um, I will say mine's my New Year's kind of started off. How can I describe it? I wouldn't say it kind of started off wild, but because I'm like, okay, I understand that I'm getting ready to come into my inverse nodal return, because that's what this video going to be about, inverse nodal return. So I'm like, okay, I understand that I'm coming to my inverse nodal return. The inverse nodal return normally it's like a pre-shadow period of your Saturn return. Um, because my Saturn return will not be until next year. But I was like, okay, I understand I'm coming to a pre-shadow period of my inverse nodal return, but I was like, well, damn, I'm not even there yet. But well, I want to come on here and talk, which brings me to the point where I wanted to talk about the inverse nodal return. It's gonna be a brief video about it. Basically, inverse nodal return is pretty much like when the nodes, the transit north to south node is in return, but it will be an opposition. It will be an opposition of your natal nodes, your natal north to south node. Like, let's say, for example, those who are gonna have an inverse nodal return this year, like if they're like, let's say, now those who north node is in Taurus, the south node is in Scorpio, then they're gonna have their nodal return. Those who have their those who north to south nodes are in the opposite. North node is Scorpio, south node is Taurus. They're gonna have the inverse nodal return. An inverse nodal return is basically when the north node is the transit north node is opposing the south node, and the transit south node is opposing the north node. Okay, so what's going on here is that this what people gonna be going through this. This is what's gonna happen. And this applies with all inverse nodal returns. Normally, when you're going through an inverse nodal return, you basically not only there will be closure, because as I stated, the past represents, like, the south node represents the past, how your ancestors were in the past, and then the type of karma that has to be broken. The karmic cycles, where they were in the past life, how they incarnated to this lifetime, and the lessons you had to go through to break that karmic cycle, right? And get whatever lessons that need to be gotten. And then the line with the north node, it's basically like transmuting but maintain. It's like striking a balance, if you get what I'm saying, in that sense. But of course, the north node is destined and fate, you know the next incarnations, the future, your children, or your future offsprings, and the type of lifestyles in the past, and the type of lifestyle they'll be walking in, and the type of path they'll be walking, which will heavily depend on you, if you breaking those cycles, and that your ancestors that reincarnated to this lifetime from your ancestors, if they incarnated the opposite way, if your ancestors learned the lesson of the previous cycle. um but what normally happens here, Not only you will gain closure, but not only reality checks will happen, but also there will be, it's like consequences normally will take place. Like whereas consequences in terms of like if you're in need to let something go, or if you're in need, or closure would be gained as well. There'll be closure that will be given. Whether if it's the person, whether if a person give you closure, or if you get closure from a situation, or you give your own self closure in the situation. Another thing here too is that inverse nodal return. Here's the thing. Okay, when it comes down to the inverse nodal return, especially when you want to do your first inverse nodal return. So what happened is that you're gonna be replaced with some type of new responsibility that you never been placed with before. Some type of new responsibility that you never been placed with before. It's more so like, I wouldn't say it might be tough to adjust to. It all depends. But you're being placed with some type of new responsibility. And by you being placed with whatever that new responsibility is, it's more so like, because you see, this is something you may have never experienced before, is what I'm saying. And when you being placed with that new responsibility, see, that's gonna have you being equipped for things going forward. It's part of your maturing process. Whatever it is on your journey, it's part of your maturing process. Because of course, when you go into your Saturn return, especially your first Saturn return, of course, it's helping you to mature. It's helping you to mature. And I talked about what Saturn represents, because of course Saturn represents, you know, not being dependent on anything, you know, taking accountability and responsibility for your own decisions, your own actions, walking along. That's what Saturn is. Not accepting not accepting the good that comes with your decisions, but also accepting the consequences. Well, accepting the consequences, whether they're good or bad, both good and bad, or whatever the case is, you know. That's what Saturn is, and then stepping into your own power, aligning with your own true authentic self. That's why I was saying, like, well, last time people talk about Aquarius and Capricorn, they'll talk about Aquarius. Like, they didn't consider Capricorn as emotional. As aloof. But see, here's the difference. As I stated before, Aquarius represents a detachment in terms of superficial. They rationalize their feelings. In other words, they give something superficial versus what's the actual original layer that's beneath the surface. Versus Capricorn. Capricorn is like pretty much like with Saturn energy. It's like, I want everything out there. You know, not only with how you mentally perceive things based off the experience, you know, based off the everybody who played a factor in it, played a role in it, and you taking accountability for it. But Capricorn is like, there's no blame to go around the table. What lesson did you learn? What lesson did that person teach you? What lesson did those people teach you? What lesson did you learn from it? What did they learn from it? What did it teach you about yourself? What did you need to change about yourself? And and heal within and change, integrate within, especially from your own subconscious with your conscious versus and how you're actually, how you actually going to end up showing up. um it's pretty much Capricorn is pretty much like facts don't give a fuck about your feelings. That's what Capricorn is. That's how it is aloof in that sense. So it's different ways of looking at it if you talk about aloofness. But back to what I was saying, that's what it is when it come down to a Saturn return. Because the thing is with a Saturn return, if you don't get whatever lessons you have to get there, because it's what to help free you, If you don't get whatever that you need to get, then whatever lessons need to be gotten and whatever you need to overcome spiritually, guess what? It's gonna be hard. Chances are it may be hard after 30, especially if you're not really trying. It may be hard after 30, because see, Saturn also unblocks you from things too. Whatever felt restricted from you, it also help unblocks you from things. That's what Saturn does. Um, because see, Saturn, the type of energy is gonna hit you where it hurts. It the type whereas okay, whatever you've been escaping and running from or fearing, that's what it's gonna test you at, and it's gonna help you overcome. What you don't want to challenge, that's what's gonna help you overcome. And because it's about self mastery. Now, back to what I was talking about the inverse nodal return. That's what the inverse nodal return do. Because now you're gonna be releasing, because you're gonna go through life changes with the inverse nodal return. Not only you're gonna be releasing, but as a state, you're gonna be placed with some type of new responsibility. Because like you'll be releasing old habits and fears. You'll be forced to face your fears with your inverse nodal return too. But I'm gonna tell you something, especially those of you who are going through an inverse nodal return coming up this year, and this applies for those of you who haven't went through it yet or that would be going through it. You're gonna encounter an experience that's gonna teach you a lesson in regards to your North Node, to whatever your North Node is. I'm gonna be honest with you. I heard stories about it. This was my first time going through my inverse nodal return, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I heard stories about people was talking about their inverse nodal return experience. I remember this one person was telling me when they went through their inverse nodal return, and they got the same. They pretty much got the same north and south node like I have, but still is placed in different houses, stuff like that. And they told me their experience. This person told me that the experience that they went through were, I think it was dealing with an abusive relationship of some sort. It basically is teach you something teach you something in relation to your North Node. Pretty much it's for, like I said, it's for to help you tap into that subconscious side. Help you recognize and help you heal whatever it's in. It helped you to own it. It helped you acknowledge it. It helped you to embrace it. Like for example, if you're the type that you suppress if you type that is possessive, and you pretty much in a way known for to be possessive, but you tend to rationalize and try to keep it suppressed, guess what? That Saturn, that inverse nodal return is gonna bring it up. Because it's gonna bring some type of experience to you. Whatever that experience is, it's gonna bring some type of experience to you that's gonna help. And whatever people or person or people that come into your life, it's like, because see, Saturn normally gonna square your Mercury, your natal Mercury, if I'm correct. Then of course it's gonna oppose your Mars, but it's gonna square your natal Mercury. And see, when that square your natal Mercury, it's gonna have you feeling restricted and blocked. It like in, I would say, an intuitive sense, but whereas you can't not too much rationalize it. I mean, you can meditate and things of that nature, but you want too much better to rationalize, because see, it's more so like, it's like you'll be trapped in the experience unknowingly. You'll be trapped inside of an experience. You won't even know that you're trapped inside of experience, but you're part of it. You're part of that experience. It's what that is. And you'll be a part of that outcome, because it's a lesson that we learn that had to be gained. You'll even be trapped, whereas you'll be vulnerable to not rationalizing your subconscious energy, what's in your subconscious. And that's going to end up coming up and coming out, Now, I will say this. Now, I have heard whereas some people Saturn returns have turned out pretty good for them. It all depends on the spiritual work that you've done on yourself and the work that you've done in your life. In terms of spiritually, the work that you've done in your life. Now, I will tell this coming toward the Saturn return, anything that came easy, guess what? Anything that came so easy whereas you didn't work for it, guess what's going to happen? Kind of like with Jupiter's energy, it's going to be taken. Saturn is going to come in, it's going to take it. So, like some people, vehicles may get pulled if they didn't work hard for it and save their hard-earned money for it. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with accepting the help that comes to you, but I'm talking about if it wasn't really work hard for it, Saturn comes in to take it. Because Saturn wants you to take the long road to get there, to get where you need to get to. Because it's about like climbing the mountain or working for it. And then once you there, you there. And it's yours. But but with the inverse nodal return, like I said, everybody, especially those who about to go through the inverse nodal return like me, which the nodes get ready to shift in about the couple weeks, next week or two. So everybody who's getting ready to go through the inverse nodal return, there's gonna be some type of experience that you're gonna go through, whereas it's gonna teach you a lesson in regards to wherever your north node is or where it's placed or whatever its aspect and the things of that nature. But it's for to help you in terms of maturity, not only self mastery but also maturity is what it's for. It's gonna be different for everybody, but that's what an inverse nodal return is. And even for people who go through the inverse nodal return, that's what it is. I guess that's why I wasn't so fond of it, because because I heard based off of people's experiences, when they went through that during that inverse nodal return. So that's why I wasn't so fond of it coming up. I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know what it's gonna be. Actually, I don't know what I'm going to encounter pretty much. But as I stated, it's gonna teach you. As I stated, whatever that is, it's gonna. Like I said, I'll talk about these type of lessons that's gonna sneak up on you. Like you won't even see it coming. Especially for those of you who about to go through your inverse nodal return or will go through it, or if you have went through it, you pretty much already know what. Pretty much already have a memorable experience of what happened. But that's what an inverse nodal return is. It help you release. They consider it's like the past meets the future or something of that nature. But in actuality, really it's not only for to help you. Really it's for to help you in terms of self empowerment. Now, let me give an example. My North Node is in Scorpio and my South Node is in Taurus. The North Node is going to be transit Taurus and the South Node going to be transit Scorpio. And this is going to be opposed to my natal lunar nodes. And one of the things, ever since after that eclipse in Taurus had happened back in November, that was kind of setting the tone right there. That was in Taurus. One of the things I overcame so far spiritually were feeling inadequate. Where feeling inadequate to becoming feeling more adequate. You know, like in other words, okay, I used to want to be with people. I used to like want people to be around me, or want to be with people when I go places, or be around people. You know, feel shy. You know, not feeling so sufficient, to go somewhere by myself, like like with a club or a party or something like that, or having to go get a drink or something by myself if I'm at a club or a party. But guess what? I overcame that. I mastered that. I overcame it. That's what you call feeling inadequate, but I overcame that. It's like now I'm starting to feel adequate. It's like I felt. It's like I noticed that I started becoming adequate. Start feeling adequate, which is means adequate means self assured. Means sufficient, and also I'm starting to feel more self assured. Like basically the lesson word there was that I had to learn and master, and I have to learn, going somewhere, being alone in terms of going somewhere alone first, things of that nature, before I can with other people. That was the lesson. And that was part of the Taurus South Node. That was a part of it. Because because I have it in the first house, the South Node of Taurus in the first, but the North Node is Scorpio in the seventh. The seventh house is about dealing with other people. That's why I said when I went to a party last year, I remember this woman that with us, that with me and some people that I was with, some of my classmates, and she was like, "Let him get his own shit. Let him get his own shit." When I asked one of my classmates to get me a drink, and I said then, I like okay, I pretty much see where it was teaching me. Once the end of last year came, and after that, I said okay. I see what it was teaching. I see what that time was teaching me. You know, that's not all, but like I said, because it depends on where it's placed and everything. Because see, what happened is that if I go somewhere with other people, one thing about it, at least I still feel confident. Like I be able to take the lead more, plan things more. I still feel more confident in doing that and doing so. Not only that, I'll be able to go with other people and not rely on other people's power and protection, but I rely on my own power, my own personal power, and my own protection. It's what that is there. So wherever your south node is placed at in your chart, wherever your south node is placed at in your chart, when the north node go into that sign where the south node is placed and is opposing it, it's a lesson that's gonna be learned, and it's something that's gonna and there's some things that's gonna be gained from it. But as I stated, it's gonna be an experience. It's going to teach you a lesson. That's gonna teach you some lessons in regards to wherever your north node is placed. It may or may not. The situation may or may not be positive. Where it'll be positive in the end, in terms of, we see the lessons of it and the outcome. But, because I heard when it come down to Saturn returns, some people had good Saturn returns. Some people you still may encounter some type of challenge of some sort, but some people may have good Saturn returns. Some of them even go through life changes during Saturn returns. Like they may get married, they may settle down and get married, or whatever the case is. You know, but that's what an inverse nodal return is. It basically when the transit nodes opposing your natal nodes, they transit but they're opposing your natal nodes, and when that happens, like I said, it's about closure that's happening. It's about the past meeting the future. It's about closure happening. Consequences taking place. You know, not only that, but It will even show you the result of a help you overcome, or even reflect the results back to you of what you overcame, or it's going to help you overcome something, help you release things. Is what an inverse nodal return is. But it's a situation that will happen that will teach you a lessons in regards to that north node, or if your north node is placed. It's what it is here. It's helping you in terms with maturity, integrate with your true identity, your, I would say your true identity, but your own inner foundation, the foundation of who you are, wherever your sun sign is placed at. Because of maturity, you're maturing, but you're gonna be placed with a new type of responsibility that you never have experienced, and you never have played, and you never have. It's like you won't see it coming, but see, it's part of your own maturing process on your journey, whatever your journey is about, and whatever it consists of, or whatever you meant to learn. It's part of a maturing process, wherever it is, new type of responsibility that you'll be placed with. It's gonna be life changing, but as I stated, it's a new type of responsibility that you'll be placed with that you never ever were placed with before. It's more so like, okay, it's more so like you get in the car for the first time. It's like you get in the car, the keys get put in your hand. You know, you went to apply for that car, or you know, somebody giving the car to you, or you work hard and the car was given to you. But guess what? Because now you have to have the license for it. You have to get it registered. You have to get the license plate for it. Of course, you had to have auto insurance. You got to keep up that auto insurance. You got to keep up that car note if it have a car note to it. If not, you got to keep up the auto insurance. You got to keep up the gas. You got to keep check of the fluids in it. All of that. And as you go places in that car, you have to protect yourself. You had to know not to stop for strangers, you know. I mean, just up and stop for anybody. You know, all of those things. So it's like something new. It's like something new that you're being placed with that you never had. Like a new responsibility you're being placed with that you never ever had experience before. That you're gonna be placed with it. But eventually you're gonna adjust to it. You're gonna adapt to it. You're gonna adjust to it. Whatever that is. And anything that comes up and come out is going to come up and it's going to come out in terms of with your subconscious. It's for you to own. It's for you to acknowledge and for you to own. And for you to embrace. And come into balance with that. And channel that energy going forward, initiating to who you are becoming, the mature person that you are becoming. Pretty much like an inverse nodal return is basically like you coming to an end of a cycle in your life, a major chapter in the cycle in your life. It's closing out. Is what that is. But this is all I want to come on here talk about. Because you're going to discover a lot of things as well. That's the positive side of it. You're going to discover a lot of things. You're going to go through a lot of life-changing events, and lot of life-changing events. You will find yourself having to make a lot of decisions, you know. But hey, but you also may go through some losses and things of that nature as well, because those things are not serving you a purpose for your highest good anymore. is what that is. And anything that you overly rationalize in terms with your subconscious, it's going to come up and come out between during that time and your Saturn return. Especially if you're just going through your first Saturn return, which is when you get it to your when you get it to between age 28 and 30. And the inverse nodal return happened at the age of it happens at the age of 27. But yeah, that's what I want to come on here and talk about. I think that's pretty much everything what I talked about so far. But until next time, peace and blessings.